Good evening, YouTube. Just wanted to make a real quick video to kind of explain a couple things real fast. So, this is the newest addition to my personal collection is the Cold Steel SRK in 3V steel, and I daily carry this on my belt to work. I work outside, and this gets used for everything that a knife, would get used for. Um, got an El Cheapo Tech Lock on the sheath. That's how I like to carry it. High on the belt, edge forward on my right side. And I've posted a few videos of this knife coming out of salt water. And I've had a few comments, like, why would you take that perfect knife in salt water? Um, you know, like, why not get a dive knife and this kind of thing. So just a real quick explanation. So I do have an actual dive knife. Now this is what they call a kill knife because it's really this shape, this dagger shape, is mostly used by spear fishermen. After they shoot a fish with the arrow and get him reeled in, they just do a real quick head poke and dispatch the fish so it's not thrashing, so you don't attract sharks. This is a wonderful knife. Um, but the reason that I actually prefer diving with this 3V knife is that it just holds an edge for so much longer than something like a J2 stainless. Excuse me. Great steel. This one is quite sharp, and it also has the luxury of having a serrated side, which is coated. Now it is sharp. That will cut through meat, whatever. But as y'all know, a stainless like this that does not rust, or as you can see, let me find that spot. It rusts very little, and this knife has had very little care other than just rinsing it off. I don't coat it with oil or anything, and it gets it's got a little spot of rust. Please excuse my camera. Um, and the 3V, it does take rust more. It's got some rust inner gills, a couple of rust spots here, but this stuff just comes off with like a kitchen sponge. And I think that's so cool about this 3V steel is while it will rust, it doesn't seem to get into the surface or pit the surface. So after a few hours of diving or snorkeling or just fishing on the saltwater and using your knife, by the time you get home, this 3V looks pretty rough. I'll be honest. It looks rusty, and it looks like you pull it out of the sheath and you're like, oh my god, I just ruined this expensive knife. And that doesn't really seem to be the case. Like, it just, the rust that does get on the blade comes right off without too much hassle. I think I did cheat and use some 2000 grit sandpaper at one point and just rubbed it, like wet sanded it, with, of course, fresh water out of the tap. And I just wanted to show y'all that a couple of my videos have shown this thing pretty badly rusted and looking ruined. Like, oh my gosh, that thing is trashed. Like, you destroyed it. And I just kind of figured I'd show this, after it's cleaned up. And I haven't done anything special to this knife in the past, say, 2 or 3 weeks, other than just carry it, use it. When the blade gets dirty or, get sap on there, or like cutting cardboard, and how like when you cut through packing tape that you get that, packing tape glue gunk on your blade, and it just makes it want to hang up when you cutting things. So other than just scrubbing the blade with like a kitchen sponge and some, dish detergent, this is what it looks like after many, 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 many hours in the salt water. And, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this knife is not ruined. It performs great. I love 3V steel. I love the toughness. I love the edge holding. I wish like crazy that I could find this knife, like exact shape, size, everything, in S35 VN, because for me, that steel performs even better in the saltwater. The 3V, like I said, it'll come out of the water looking like, oh my gosh, that thing is thrashed, and then it cleans up real nice, you know. Um, and but S35 VN, like my Espada and my Talwar, I probably snorkel with this Talwar more than any other knife. Um, this thing really has been everywhere. It's been surfing, it's been bodyboarding, kayaking, scuba diving, snorkeling. And I mean, I'm talking like, you know, 100 hours of saltwater time. I've had this thing for a couple years. Um, it's just, I mean, you would never know it was in the saltwater. It's bananas. And I know that the drawback is that S35VN can be more brittle, like almost as I understand it, it's almost more glass-like. So like if you tried to pry with it, it's gonna shatter like a piece of glass almost. And the 3V has a lot more of that tensile toughness, to keep its shape, spring back, so to speak. But if I find about a 6 to 7 inch fixed blade that is S35VN, oh my gosh, I will have it, because that is the only thing in my mind, just with my experience with my limited collection and specifically in saltwater, the S35VN is the king for me. That absolutely, bar none, it takes an absolutely wicked edge. It holds it forever. I mean, you cannot dull this thing. And I take care of it. You know, I'm not cracking it off of barnacles and stuff, you know, the edge at least. Um, but it's just the best steel that I have ever owned. And, you know, maybe that speaks to my inexperience with some of the more premium steels, but S35VN for saltwater, all the way. That is the king of kings in my personal book, absolutely. Followed by 3V, just because of the superb toughness of this steel. I mean, it would take something dramatic to break this. This one, on the other hand, it is a little thinner. You know, if I tried to pry open a sunken car door, you know, in the water, it would probably snap off, you know. But as far as just cutting power and cutting edge, dude, uh, S35VN all the way, 3V, and then this little super dude, which has also been a really good knife, and it's gotten used a couple of times to perform the task that I described at the beginning of the video, you know, and the coating wears off a little bit coming in and out of the sheath. And surprisingly, those bony fish, I don't have a single scratch in that coating. So I would highly recommend this to anyone. This is the Black Knight dive knife, but you're going to want to keep it sharp, because that stainless is going to be way softer than these. And someone who's just snorkels or dives, you know, a couple times a year, you probably never have to sharpen it, or, you know, at least not often. But if you're constantly cutting stuff, then you probably want one of these more tough steels. So thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy.